This is my first big event as chair. Obviously, I hate that it has to be on these terms and under these circumstances. But one of the things that I promised when I decertified the party, because it was solely my decision, one of the things I promised was to be intricately involved in this process. So I'm here today because I know that there's a lot of questions out there that people want answers to. And frankly, I'm the only one who can answer them because I'm the only one who made the decision to decertify the party. What I hope to accomplish this evening, I hope that we can put the past behind us. I hope I'm able to answer those questions and put the past behind us so that we can start to look forward towards the future. What I don't want to happen tonight is for us to slip into the situation where we're continuously rehashing the past. You all are getting a jump start on reorganization. We could have simply said, let's wait till August and let them reorganize in August. But we need every county party across our state functioning. The decision to decertify the party, one of my first decisions, it was a tough choice. But when I ran for party chair, one of the things that I promised was that our state party was going to start operating with a solid infrastructure. And the way we do that is by making sure that everybody's on the same page, by making sure that everybody understands how our governing structure works. For a long time, we've had a state party that has kind of pretty much caved here, caved there, gave in here, gave in there. That's not the way I operate. And, you know, again, I hate that we have to meet under these terms. So, hopefully, let me walk you through a timeline of what led us to this moment. January 16th, I'm elected as state party chair. The Monday following my election, I spoke with the former chair, Jerome Sequels, and he put on my radar for the very first time that there was a grievance issue to be settled in Madison County. I had never heard of it, didn't really know. I knew of Jackson, but I didn't know Jackson was in Madison County. I know now. I promised him in that call that I would adhere, and he told me, he said, I know you got a lot going on. I hate to give you this news so early in the job. And I promised him, he told me that there may be some folks involved in the process that may have some biases. One thing I told him is that I'll take a look at it, I'll request all the documents, and I'll look at it myself. After talking to him, I went a couple of weeks, got situated into the job, and I immediately called the County Party Development Committee Chair. And I asked her, send me everything that you have on Madison County so that I can resolve this issue that's going on. Upon getting the information from her, I spent some time looking through every statement and every document that had been submitted about infighting that had been going on with the county party since 2019. Since 2019. We've been dealing, and it could have been longer than that. Let me finish. It could have been longer than that. But the documents I had took me back that far. Obviously, I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. I've worked in management and business operations. Nothing lingers that long. I served as an emergency manager in the public sector. Nothing lingers that long. So I've made it a top priority to make sure that I issue a decision on this as soon as I can. I read through all of the statements that have been submitted, all of the grievances, all of the back and forth, he say, she say, they say. But then I got to the very end of that list of documents, and in red, there was an email on January the 5th from Mayor Mancini to the former chair, instructing him to seat David Johnson as treasurer of the party because he had been duly elected. Obviously, I had read through the email chain, and the evidence in that email chain showed me the same thing. I didn't have to make a decision on what the resolution was because the former chair had already made a decision. Regardless of if she was likable or wasn't likable, regardless of how good or bad she may have been as a state party chair, a decision had been made. I immediately notified the former chair that I was going to stick with the decision that had been made because I operate with a business mindset. Once a state party issues a resolution to a grievance, don't go back and overturn that decision or relitigate or remediate that situation, and I wasn't going to do that. So I told the former chair in a written document, I am going to enforce a decision made by the former chair. You have 14 days to simply do two things. I want you to do two things. I want you to notify this guy that he's been seated as treasurer because he was duly elected, and then I want you to just send, and I want you to notify him in writing, and I want you to send me a copy of that correspondence. If that does not happen in 14 days, then I'm going to decertify the party, and I'm going to put a 2-year moratorium on all of the current officers. That includes the person who was supposed to be duly elected. 14 days came and went. I did not hear from the former chair because I was hoping, man, I hope this guy complies. I didn't want to be right that he didn't comply with Mary's order because maybe he just didn't get the email. But then 14 days come and go, and he don't comply with the order that I sent. 24 hours after that came and went. And I said, okay, I've got to enforce my own words. So I sent him a letter notifying him that the party had been decertified. This party wasn't decertified because of grievance, because of personal infighting, because of he say, she say, or they say. The party was decertified because leadership decided that they was not going to comply with the state party. I do not operate under that structure. The Tennessee Democratic Party is the governing authority in the state of Tennessee for every county party in the state, except everybody else has to abide by the rules and follow what we lay out as a state party. Do I want to see this party? Do I want to see this party decertified and have to reorganize? Absolutely not. We have a seats to flip. We have races to win, and you all have. Let me say this: you all have done some good work in Madison County. I'm not denying that. I've looked at the stuff that you've done. You've done some good work here, and I want you back to that work as fast as we can get there. But I want it to be on a clear understanding that in order for us to function as a state party, that every county party has to understand that they have a role to play. In August, when we reorganize other counties, we'll roll out some new standard guiding principles for every county party in this state. Some new standard bylaws that we will lead every county party in this state by. Because if we're not on the same page, if everybody's all doing their own thing, then we can never be strong enough to do anything in this state. So I hope tonight we're able to get beyond what happened and start thinking about what this party can be, not just here in Madison County, but all across our state. I didn't run for party chair to lose. I didn't run for party chair to piss off Democrats. I want to piss off a whole lot of Republicans and send them packing, but it starts with making sure that we got our own house in order. And sometimes we got to face hard truths. Senator Warnock said at an event I was at yesterday, sometimes it takes division to see the vision. And the vision is clear. We can be stronger. We can be better. We can do what we need to do as a county party, as a state party, as a national party. But everybody's got to be on the same page. You can't thumb your nose at the state party. I've worked jobs. I've volunteered. Whenever I showed up at places, they said, this is the work that you got to do. If I decided that I wasn't going to do that work, no consequences. I've managed hundreds of people, millions of dollars in resources. If those folks didn't do the job that we'd hired them to do, there were consequences. I'm state party chair. If I don't deliver, I expect in 2 years for there to be consequences on me. And the same thing happens in every county. If you do not comply with what the state party issues as a resolution, especially when it comes to grievances, then there will be consequences. And that's not just here in Madison County, that's for every county across this state. And I will govern by that principle until the day I'm out of this job. So, with that being said, let's take some questions.